Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, why am I stuck with a narcissist? Why am I stuck with someone who might even be a psychopath? I can't seem to get my mind off of them and on to me, as you discuss in the videos. Well, it's a great viewer question because oftentimes people who have been wounded, people who have been victimized, tend to externalize their locus of control, or they tend to externalize power outside of themselves, and in their gut feel either powerless, which is a learned helpless, sort of a learned helplessness state, where you learned that maybe you're less than perfect, you're prone to mistakes, you're not talented enough, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, more handsome enough, you are not enough. Whatever the descriptor is, you can't cook, clean, build, whatever. There's going to be either some sort of deficit that one feels that one owns. They're taking ownership of a negative quality of themselves, which is usually taught or learned or picked up while in the relationship with this individual, based on their judgment, based on the things that they've said and how they've treated you. And specifically, there's usually a big gap or rift between how they treat you and then how they treat others. In other words, the triangulation, meaning so-and-so over here will get all this attention, and over here, you only get a small percentage. Or over here we're doing this, and over here, you only get to do this with us. So there becomes this disparity, there becomes a gap, and people then usually will stay in the relationship feeling, well, at least, a little something is better than nothing. To have this companionship is better than nothing. It's better than being alone. So people have that thought process, which then kind of, keeps them stuck. And because of the powerlessness, things will never change for me. Things will never get better. It's been too long. I'm married into this. This is my whole family. They are acting out of learned helplessness, just as we see in the study with, the baby elephants that are taught to become adhered to a post, a stake in the ground, through a rope. They are trained and cultivated that they, might only have like 5 or 6 feet with which they can move around, this stake because of a rope that is taught, and they continue to pull on the rope, and as they pull harder, it pulls stronger onto them, and they get choked, and so they back off. Every time they try to wander, they pull back, and then they eventually learn that they can only go 5 or 6 feet around this post. And then once that baby elephant has been taught and programmed this learned helplessness, that they can't, act according to their free will, that they then begin to renounce this capacity completely. And then the trainer, the programmer, can then take that rope off, and then that elephant will no longer move beyond that little circumference. Learned helplessness. Oftentimes people are in the similar state with someone who has been hypercritical, judgmental, and devalued others, and have that they've taught them that they are less than. So it is a learned state. So that especially things also like post-traumatic stress, complex PTSD as well. Pete Walker, read that book. It's a heavy read, but a lot of that learned helplessness is taught by others in their environment, and they never get a chance to successfully confront or challenge and then get to the other side of it. There is another side. You need to wake up to that truth and know that it has everything to do with mindset. Your mindset, not just your attitude, I have a good attitude, I have a bad, it's your mindset, what you literally believe. So if you, in your heart of hearts, of your hearts of hearts of hearts of hearts, believe that you don't have what it takes, if you believe you're only going to be, living in that small compartmentalized space, never get out, never move beyond, never, go and seek new relationships or try your hand at new things, if you don't even give yourself a chance, learned helplessness, you find that you're not growing, your life is being stagnated, you're not going anywhere, you feel that you're just, digging your own hole, you're just, pedaling in place, you feel that you're not going anywhere, you're not living in that higher vibration, you're not getting into that metacognitive ability, which is your mind's ability to reflect and think about what it's thinking about, and then in that moment make changes, corrections, adaptations, and then make the choice for good. I call that positive, orderly direction thinking, feeling and behaving and doing, versus it's like looking at, a series of doors. The door back to the narcissist, it's going to take you back down that lonely corridor, and it's going to be dark. It might be familial, and you might, have a pity party, poor, poor, pitiful me, and then just sit there and drowning in your own despair and just sort of wallowing in it. To wallow in it is just to kind of bask in your own unhappiness. And to a degree, you do need to have legitimate suffering, legitimate grief, but, correcting it and your lessons learned, getting to the next step, upping your game and upgrading your mindset and looking at perhaps the self-limiting mindset that kept you there. It's within your control. It is within your ability. You have the ability to change your mindset. Never done that before, Peace and Harmony. Okay, great. That's why we have this video. It's important to know that you can change your mindset. You can get into those self-limiting beliefs and see how they were set up, like a nugget, just like a physical sort of handicap, if you will. It becomes an emotional or mental handicap if you are living by very negative self-limiting beliefs. You won't make plans. You won't you won't pick up a book to read. You won't experiment with different things. You might not try, healthier foods. You might just go on automatic pilot. It takes a little bit of metacognition to think about what you're thinking about and reflect and to understand where your mindset lives and to get there and get in and undo those self-limiting beliefs that keep you stuck with abusers, stuck with people who are victimizing, becoming underemployed or remaining unemployed, remaining unhappy, remaining underfulfilled, remaining, just not at your potential. You're not living to your potential, and so people always have this sneaky feeling that there's something more that I should be, there's something more that I should become, something ain't right here, but they don't know how to fix it. It's like having an engine, you don't know where to find the wire that's making that horrible noise, but you might have to take apart the engine. You might have to get down in there and clean out some gunk, some corruption, some corrupted way of thinking, some flawed thinking that's taking all your psychic and psychological energy and, using it for bad, using it for unhappiness, using it for unfulfillment, and using it to keep you stuck and blocked. If you are stuck and blocked, it's like feeling that that there is something more that you should have in life, but you're not going after it. That there's something that you can feel better in life, but you're not going after it. Kind of you're teetering, you're like emotionally on the fence. You can go back, you can go forward, but you just sort of teeter there. You don't really go anywhere. It's like being at the crossroads. I call it basically wimp junction. Am I going to wimp out and go back to the riffraff? Am I going to go back to the negative thought patterns? Am I going to go back to conflict and confusion and these, ways of thinking. I call it NOD thinking, negative orderly direction thinking. Am I going to open that door and walk down that path to where I'm confused, unhappy, unfulfilled, underemployed, overweight, underweight, whatever it is, gambling addiction, sex addiction, whatever it is that's got you in that cycle. It's, it's like a hamster wheel. You think, they're running, but they're in the same place, so you need to understand that part of that is the negative self-limiting belief. It's literally like, like a physiological mindset state. So you need to get in there and waken it up and kind of like break it open. Realize the cause that's created this effect as well. Who were the perpetrators? Who were the players? Who were the actors? Who were the characters in that originally teaching of your negative self-limiting beliefs? You can go back there. People have formative events, formative situations that they, pivot a lot of their feelings on. And it could have been repeated. What was said? Who said it? What was said? What was done? How did you feel? And then what transpired after? And then how did you derive an interpretation that culminated into a negative self-limiting belief for you? I can't do this. I can't. It's negative validation. It is driving your I am on the negative versus the positive. Instead of the I am, it's the I am not. Instead of the I have, it's the I have not. So, negative validation, meaning your I am is based on the negative. So that's what's causing that anxiousness, that worry, that fight or flight. You're defining yourself by the negative versus the positive. And for a lot of people, because it's so familiar, they will cling to that, because especially since they've been so steeped and reinforcing and rememorizing and rehearsing those negatives, either through unconscious self-talk, conscious self-talk, situations that reinforce where they find themselves repeatedly this always happens to me. Those situations where you've rehearsed it so many times in your mind that it's just all that you see. In other words, you've because it was so formative and because it was so significant in your definition of yourself, that you kind of your subconscious will cling to it and it will hold on. And it's important that you look at that and the tendency to hold on, and then the why. Was it because the people who were in charge of your life, your caregivers who fed and clothed you and sheltered you, was it because you had to adhere to their judgment of you in order to survive? Was it, to what state of it was it your life that you had to accept a negative self-limiting belief to survive in that situation or in that relationship? And now that you've come some distance in some ways, can you back off of it a little bit and see how you were taught, just like that baby elephant, to stay very limited? And that you had rehearsed and rememorized that to keep yourself stuck. That is the experience of being stuck. It's becoming closed-minded to the I am of your potential. So if you've become closed-minded to your own good because of this narcissist, this psychopath, or series of relationships, it's important to understand that you have become closed-minded, meaning you're not open to solutions, you're not open to opportunities, you're not open to what is presented right in front of you, the flashes of inspiration, the flashes of being invited, the flashes of I could, the flashes of hope, the flashes of opportunity that you just and then backed off of, or you did not follow through. Can you identify with situations where that occurred? It is to understand then, if you can, how important it is for you to grab the opportunity in those moments and have positive self-belief, positive confidence, and go through with it in a state of peace. Not anxiousness, not worry, not trepidation, but one of security and serenity. It is understanding then that when opportunity presents itself, that you don't freak out, that you don't, go, either way too excited that you can't focus, or, negative belief, that won't work out. Are you shutting yourself down before you even have a chance? Look at that habit. Look at that emotional habit, one that is habitual and habituated, that was connected to that negative self-limiting belief. If you look at it through the thread in your life and how it is sort of, created a lack of manifestation and a lack of abundance and a lack of happiness and lightness of being because of that situation. The breakthrough, comes when you're able to get off of that fence of negative self-belief, and that you're then not knowing how to act, or you're inhibiting yourself from acting, or you're inhibiting yourself from communicating, you're inhibiting yourself from doing what is required to go there and to be it. So you have to have that in a be state, exist in it, exist. And so rehearse and rememorize that positive state. It's a recultivating, it's a combing through, it's a allowing, doing a number of the exercises, getting out, clearing out the, getting some breathing room, getting some fresh air, literally and figuratively, into that space, and getting some mindfulness and working on that be state for yourself. Be as in being state, as in human being state. People they forget what they are. You are a human being. You're not a human doing. You're not a static situation. You're not a stuck or blocked situation. You are a human being. You have trillions and trillions and trillions of cells that have evolved over millions and millions of years, that are built on the carbon of collapsed stars that are the composite of your being. The carbon in your blood, the elements, the minerals are from collapsed stars. You are literally, made of cosmic stardust. You literally have those components, which are based on infinite intelligence operating within you. Flash alert, you are connected to infinite, and you are infinite intelligence. That is what is running through you, that creative factor, that creative being, that, the creative. If you go and look at, the behavior of plants, look at the behavior of plants. Look, if you're in an environment where you've got seasons, look at the behavior of plants, how they open up and then they close up. Look how they have their leaves and then they drop them and then they hibernate. There is infinite intelligence in their behavior. Likewise for yourself. You need to look at how you've learned and picked up along the way that you are meant to be in the shadow. You are meant to be, in the dark. Who taught that? And to keep you sort of clammed up, and then to say, wow, that ain't the truth. And your mindset needs to understand that I am all those things that you thought that you could not do. You need to write these things down. I go over this again and again, the power of the written word. This takes a pen, this takes a piece of paper, and it takes writing out a statement that is a command to your subconscious mind. I believe in happiness. I believe in happiness. I am abundantly happy. If you write this down in big words, we're talking 2 to 3 inch, I am happy. Write this in your recovery journal. I believe in infinite happiness. I believe. If you just resonated with that statement and you're going, amen, peace and harmony, then you believe and you will achieve. If you don't believe in happiness and you're going, I don't believe in it, that is how, if you're not resonating with that, then deep inside, You have a self-limiting belief that is guiding your behavior, your life, your mindset, and that's all you'll ever manifest because that is what you believe, the law of the lid. This equates to income, this equates to performance, this equates to relationships, this equates to where you live. It is all based on your mindset. This is one of the most potent areas of your life that you can discover and open up and evolve from to correct and change what you experience in your life. You need to have, interaction and exchange with the universe, that quantum field, that infinite energy that sweeps and passes through you on a minute by minute basis. You are taking in oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide. You're taking in that oxygen, which is fueling your cells. You are meant to be. It's that symbiotic relationship that you have with life should be enough for you to understand that you are connected. And that your mindset is something that you have responsibility to be a steward of. If no one has expressed this to you, it's important that you understand its expression and its place within you. It is very, very powerful. It will help you to manifest and create in your life. I believe, and writing these things down. And so whatever it is you want to achieve, let's, make an example. Let's say you have a goal to read 3 books in the next month. I have so enjoyed those 3 books this month. I completely enjoy those books that I have digested, absorbed, and applied this month. I am so much the wiser. I believe in education and knowledge. And writing that down, I have enjoyed the 3 books that I have read, or 5 books, or whatever it is that your goal is. I enjoy eating healthfully. It is so easy for me to eat healthy. If you have been stuck because you're in the down and out, then look at identifying where you want to be and writing it down. If it's income, write the income goal down. If it's relationships, write that goal down. I now enjoy close, intimate, and inspiring relationships. You can do a vision board. A vision board also is a picture of what you want to experience and have in your life. You need to gaze upon that as a shield, as a protection, as a way to prime your subconscious mind to bring it about so that you're automatically will begin to decide and behave and think according to what you want. It is so powerful that a lot of people don't do it because they are afraid of success. That also is so you need to get and become aware of your mindset and how it's holding you back and inhibiting you or releasing you. Are you staying stuck because it's so familiar and you're clinging? And you need to let it go. What would happen if you let go of that self-limiting belief? You might begin to jump for joy. Oh my God. You might begin to smile. What would happen then? No one has seen me in this state. They might say I'm wackadoodle or whatever. What are your fears holding you back? Look at those and become clear and understand within yourself. Become open to understanding with clarity and becoming familiar with and understanding what has held you back. Where have you become confused? Where have you become confused in relationships? Where have you become confused in your finances? Where have you become confused with authority? Where have you not taken your own authority and you've latched onto the authority of someone who was toxic for you or who caused you to live by negative self-limiting beliefs? Really, really explore that. Understand and become clear and become balanced with it. And furthermore, take your recovery dates to now act on those positive, expansive beliefs. Even if it's just taking time in writing that out, that can be your recovery date. Going to the library and writing this out, going to your home office, writing this out, going to a park, writing this out and feeling it in your being, practicing and rehearsing. This is not a one-time thing. This attachment to the negative self-limiting belief, was just think how long you've rememorized and rehearsed the negative within you. Now, just think if you can now give that same energy towards the positive, what that will do for you. If you want to go in a little by little balanced basis, then go little by little. Slowly change, the tide of your life into that direction. But do the work. Understand the components. Understand the configuration and how it relates to, locking in those pieces in your life, and then how you can break them apart, open them up, and then let it go. If you have trouble letting it go, then begin to acknowledge and validate, I have trouble letting this go, and get rigorously honest with yourself. Man, forgive yourself. I've held on to this for way too long. How is this serving me? How is this not serving me? Have this discussion. This is what healing is all about. It takes some discussion, it takes some reflecting, it takes some communication, it takes some knowledge, it takes some tools and resources that we discuss here. So this is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help and get you going in the right direction towards opening up those positive, expansive beliefs that you live by, breathe by, eat by, and exist by. It's okay to be in the positive. You are safe. Please share, please donate, and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support. Have a beautiful day. Peace out.